Basically, this is the last meeting for Angela. So it's been a good time with Angela here. It's been a good meetings. So I'm sorry you are leaving with us, but things move on and we'll do the best.
And we have Donna with us, Chair.
Ah,
We'll be
good.
our new representative, okay?
Excellent. Okay. Anyway, we'll make a start. Item 1, apologies for absence.
Justine Jones.
All right, okay, thanks.
Okay.
And item 2, any declarations of interest? Doesn't seem to be anything there.
Okay, just before we start the agenda, maybe we could introduce Donna, which will be our new representative for the next meeting onwards.
Yeah, fine. If Donna would like to say a few words, just do a very congratulations anyway.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very honoured to be given the role, being handed over from the magnificent Angela, who I know very well, and she's been absolutely superb in giving me, providing information and advice and guidance already, and I'm really grateful to her, and I look forward to working with you all. I'm currently with RCT, so in the new role, obviously spreading my wings and getting to know more SACRE.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, we move on to item 3, which is the Jewish Museum project. Anything further on, Angela?
Okay, yeah, so we've had some correspondence from Lisa Shanes, I believe, at Jewish Museum in London, and she's a consultant that's working for the Foundation for Jewish Heritage, and they're in the process of renovating the synagogue in Merthyr. So I'm sure lots of you will be really familiar with the building. It's really distinctive. I think is it on Church Road? Is that right? Yeah.
Church Street.
Church Street, sorry. And the idea is to turn it into a Jewish cultural and heritage centre. One of the things that they would really like to do is to engage with SACRE in order to develop the project and to talk about it. One of the main things that the cultural centre is going to be doing is education for schools in the area and further afield. They're producing a kind of resource library that's full of images and so on, and an online portal with things connected to the Welsh curriculum and so on and so forth. We did actually invite Lisa to come and talk today to us about the project, but unfortunately she wasn't able to make it. If it's something that SACRE would be interested in taking further and becoming involved with in any way, then she's going to try and make the meeting in the autumn term. So any thoughts about that would be really welcome.
Okay, thank you, Angela. I'm very pleased to see it, to be honest, because years ago my family lived in Church Street, and we used to regularly very close to the building, and it was always a good area, looking forward to it. So I'm not really looking good if it's going to be well back in a good use. So anyone else? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm very sorry about that. My speech isn't too good, but it is getting a bit better. So I leave it to you, Mark.
Yeah, thanks ever so much. Yeah, I think if we could re-invite, I haven't got the email up in front of me. Lisa, is that correct? The correct name? Yeah. Because I think it would be really lovely for us to hear how this museum culture centre is going to engage. I'm not being funny. It'd be good to hear ideas and to see what technology is being used. So I personally would be very interested and would be very supportive. We do quite a lot out of Christchurch here with the Bible Comes to Life and things like that. So yeah, cooperation I think is a good thing to happen, and I would like if other people agree to invite her to our next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Anybody else from anyone?
I'd like to just agree with what Mark said. I would really like to see how she wants to involve our communities, the schools, and how we're going to engage and how they can learn about the history of Judaism. And I hope it's going to be fun and engaging for the children, and it's going to be, you know, something that they're going to find really interesting, rather than just sometimes the teacher just being in the front of the class. It can be boring, but if they're able to perhaps even go to the synagogue and things like that, is what makes teaching fun, and it's what will make the children be really interested, engaged, and will want to learn. So I welcome it.
Okay, Sean, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, just that we, as a school, we're really excited about what is actually going to happen there. I've actually been in contact with a lady called Helen Atkinson, who works for the actual Jewish London Museum, because she wanted a bit of my input as well into how our school would use the Heritage Centre and the resources there. So yeah, definitely welcome someone coming into the meeting and telling us more about it. It'd be brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have a word? If not, well, we
I'll
look
get in
forward.
touch with her, Chair, when we've confirmed a date now at the end of the meeting. I will get in touch with her tomorrow and give her the date then, okay?
That's fine. I think a good idea then, Karen. We leave it until leave that meeting until the lady is available.
Yeah.
Would that
Well,
be a
if
good
we
idea?
could confirm a meeting ourselves, and I will get back to her, because she did say she was quite flexible, so long as she had the time, you know, bit of notice to do it. Unfortunately, when she was invited to this meeting today, it wasn't enough notice for her, so she should be okay for our autumn meeting, okay?
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, is there anybody else? If not, we'll be moving along to item 4, which is the membership update, pages 5 and 6. This is for information, basically. Was anything further on question 5? Page 5.
I have been in contact with education on the with the teachers associations to see if Anthony could take it to maybe a section heads meeting, because we have got a number of vacancies now. We're just a little bit concerned that we could be encouraged for some meetings and we don't want that. So I'm waiting Anthony to get back to me on that. And really, is there anyone else in the committee who would have any suggestions that we could invite others?
Is there any ideas from anyone?
I think it'd be really good to talk to Lisa from the Jewish Museum and see if there's anybody in the area who could represent the Jewish community and come on to SACRE perhaps.
Yeah. Okay, Michelle.
Is there any like criteria? Because I know, I don't know whether Mark knows Pat Lewis. Do you know Pat Lewis, Mark? She's Ray Lewis. They call it Irish Pat. Yeah. Well, I don't know what the criteria is, but she's a governor in Hilgerig School, and she's in the Gateway Church, I think it's called. Oh, sorry, my car alarm keeps going off. I don't know if we could invite her, because she's quite obviously big in the church and things like that. But she's also got an education background, if maybe she would be suitable, but I'm not sure what the criteria is of joining this committee.
Thank you very much. Well, we see where we go in the future.
What's her name? Michelle, did you say?
It's Pat Lewis. She lives in Castle Park.
I'll have a look on our Constitution, okay, and maybe I'll have a word with you after the meeting and see exactly and see if we can maybe invite her. Is that okay, Angela? I'll have a look at the criteria.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine. I've also made an approach recently to the Centre for Islamic Studies in Cardiff to see if they have anybody who might be willing to sit on Merthyr SACRE as well. But I haven't heard back from them, so that's something I can chase it.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on that area? If not, we move on to item 5, minutes of previous meetings, 25th of March, pages 7 to 10. Yeah, we have pages 7 to 10. Does someone that we agree the meeting, the minutes, please? Everybody happy? Thank you very much. Any more, anything information on it or further? If not, we move on. If everybody's happy with that, we're moving on to item 6, which is the update of plans for examinations in 2022.
Okay, shall I take this one? There's news hot off the press on this, and there was a consultation about what the plan should be for 2022 for A-levels and GCSEs. There were only, I think, 24 respondents to the consultation, and they expressed various views. It looks likely that what's going to happen from our perspective for RS, GCSE and A-level is that there's going to be an adaptation made so that pupils will only have to study 75% of the curriculum. There are some who are happy with this. There are other voices who are not content with that because it does put pupils under extra pressure because even though they are studying 25% less of the curriculum, they will have to, the pupils who've just gone through year 10 going into year 11, they will have to sit all of their modules at the end of year 11, and similarly so for pupils who are currently in year 12 going into year 13. So it does place extra pressure arguably upon them. Well, it does. The reason why no further concessions are going to be made is because there has to be parity across the border with England, and in England there are going to be no adaptations made for our RS, GCSE and A-level, and it was felt that as some of our students as well for GCSE study a short course, that material couldn't be made any less as well. So there were a number of issues that influenced the thinking on that, and the likelihood is that's going to be the plan for 2022. But of course, there's still lots of uncertainty about what's going to happen with the pandemic.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Michelle.
Yeah, can I just ask, so we only had 24 replies to the consultation, is that correct?
Yeah.
So who did we consult with? Was it all the pupils who were taking GCSE and A-levels in our Merthyr schools, is it, or parents?
No, it was a national consultation that was put out, I think, by Qualifications Wales. It was just a public consultation to which anybody could respond, and it was for all qualifications, not specific to religious studies. It was for across the board.
Okay,
But we
thank you
only
very
had
much.
only 24 replies in Merthyr.
Apparently only across everybody.
In the whole of the country?
Yeah.
Oh my word. Okay, thank you.
It wasn't well publicised, and it would have escaped lots of people's notice, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. Any further questions? If not, we move along. We move on to item 7, which is the SACRE business. And we have pages 11 to 34, the draft minutes for the meeting the 23rd of March. Anyone aggrieved to those meetings or any questions? Yeah, Mark, you're muted. Mark, you're muted. Yoo-hoo, Mark. You muted. You muted.
I don't think he can hear us.
I know. Mark, can you hear us? Yeah. Well, we have a problem, Mark. We cannot hear what you're saying. Mark.
Yeah.
You're muted. We couldn't hear you.
Right. No, I sorry, I had to take an emergency call. I do apologize.
Oh, sorry, fair enough. Is there anything further you wanted? No, it's okay.
Not at the moment, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, everybody's happy to move along.
Yeah, I'll just say
Angela, did you want to update the committee?
Oh, yes, yeah.
should I just update that there has been a further meeting on the 16th of June for SACRE, and NAPFRE met, the advisory, the National Advisory Panel for RE met the day before. The main thing that was discussed at both of those meetings on the 15th and 16th was this consultation that we are going to be discussing soon. There was lots of appreciation that that teachers and pupils have been under a lot of pressure, but the RE in schools is still really good, and teachers are working incredibly hard to make sure that that they're giving pupils the best provision possible. There was there was focus on the SACRE website. They've actually invested in a new web platform website, and that's going to be hopefully of much more use, much more user friendly, and hopefully they're going to be updating their website to put on the annual reports and other information that's really important to SACREs. The financial report in the AGM showed that they had actually saved quite a lot of money over the months of the pandemic, and the hope is that they are going to invest what they've saved into supporting teachers and advisors and SACRE clerks with professional learning. That's the main thing that they plan to do with that with that extra money. So those were the main points, but I don't know if anyone's got any questions at all.
Any further questions or points you wish to make? Okay, well, if that's the case, we shall, everybody happy with the meetings, the minutes? We should then move on. Yeah, we have the SACRE meeting minutes on the 19th of June. And we move on to item 8, the Welsh Government public consultation.
Yes, so we've got another consultation to consider. So we've had quite a few of them to look at, and this one is quite a complex one, like some of the others as well. So I've taken the step of suggesting some draft responses for us to discuss. There's no expectation upon anybody that they're going to agree with the responses. They've been composed from discussions with other SACREs, but also with the National Advisory Panel for RE and SACRE as well. So I have been in a lot of discussions around this consultation, and I've tried to highlight some of the main themes and concerns that are coming up, and of course it's really important that we try, if we can, to come up with a SACRE response to put forward. That's not to say that we all need to agree on every point. We can reflect a range of different views within that SACRE response. I think that the only thing that we really do need to kind of agree on, if we can, is what kind of tick box option we're going to go for each question. So if we can broadly agree on that, that would be great, and then we can put different viewpoints in. And if there really is anybody who can't agree, we can actually note that there was some dissent on the council about a particular issue and so on. I would also very strongly recommend that everybody on SACRE does their own personal response to this consultation, and fills in all the questions, including those that are just directed at SACREs, because you are SACRE members or officers, so you're perfectly entitled to answer those questions as well. So if you do that, that will definitely support the consultation process, and it will hopefully bring more voices to the table, and hopefully they will listen to our points. So a SACRE response, even though we are a committee of many people with lots of different experience, will only count as one response, the same as a response from an individual. So that's worth bearing in mind. So I'm hoping that people had a chance just to have a look at the document that Welsh Government is consulting on, and perhaps have a look at some of the questions and some of the draft notes that I've sent out recently, or Karen sent out on my behalf. So I think a good place to start would be just before we go into the questions, if anybody's got any kind of initial thoughts, anything they would like to say about their first kind of reactions to the guidance, that would be really helpful to start us off.
Okay, Ian.
Thank you, Chair. I've just got a few general comments about the work that Angela has produced here. I think we should thank her for a detailed and powerful criticism of the Welsh Government's RVE guidance document. It's clear that Angela's put a huge amount of work into this. Angela has identified problems relating to every question asked and ended with a seriously critical conclusion. Also, she has identified 7 areas where there are gaps of information in the guidance. It will certainly give the authors of the guidance some food for thought, and it will be interesting to see if this elicits a response from the Welsh Government, because if so, they will have to do something about it, and if not, it will be an indictment of their consultation process. So my thanks to Angela, and very well done on that. There's some general comments, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ian. Anybody else has a comment? Anything you wish to say? Okay, yeah. Basically, I would say is that one of the comments it says in the question about the other principal religions represented in Wales. Now, to me, it should be clear, especially parents have not parental right to withdraw. You know, so unless it is clear, they should have the parental withdrawal. That's my feeling on it.
Can I just check, Chair? Can everyone see the presentation? Yes? All right, okay.
Okay, anything else further? So we'll move on to question 2 then, Angela.
Yeah, that's fine. If people are happy with question 1 and indicating not well, some SACREs are feeling that it should be not well at all. If there's anybody who feels strongly one way or another, that would be really helpful before we move on to question 2. If there's anything that anybody would like to add or take away from this response, this one, question 1, is limited to 250 words. The others are not limited to a word count. Don't know why that is, but we just limited in what we can say on this first question. So are we happy with not well, or did we want to maybe consider some of the other tick box options?
I would be very happy with that, Angela.
I'm happy with that as well.
Yeah, anybody else further? So if not, we move along then, Angela.
Okay, so second question, is the guidance as a whole clear and helpful for your role, for you in your role? So speaking as SACRE and SACRE members and officers, I think that the one thing that really struck me about this document is that the audience seemed to be too broad, and it seemed to be addressing different audiences at different points as I read through, and it wasn't really clear who the advice or the guidance was being addressed to. I felt that you need a lot of knowledge and understanding of RE to make it accessible. There's lots of reference to education law in there, which isn't explained fully. It's not footnoted, and there's some inaccurate and potentially misleading information in the legal section, I would say, in particular. Agreed syllabus is recommending what should be taught in RE, RVE. It's not actually the case in law at the moment, and it makes it sound like a kind of a kind of menu that you can just choose from or not. I didn't think that was particularly well worded, somewhat misleading. I think what's coming up, and this comes up in lots of questions actually, what seems to be ignored in this guidance is that that the schools actually, because of the way that the Curriculum and Assessment Act has been written, that they cannot have full autonomy and full what they call subsidiarity in their RVE provision, because there is the requirement that there is a locally agreed syllabus. So that remains unchanged in law. What has changed is that most schools, the majority of schools, will be teaching with regard to the locally agreed syllabus, as rather than in accordance with it, which is a lower level of expectation, but there's still an expectation in law around that, which hasn't been explained again in this document. The connection between RVE and school and the agreed syllabus and the status of this document is unclear, I feel. So I don't know how we felt about that, whether you think what I said there is fair and accurate, and whether you're happy with the judgment there of the guidance being very unclear. It'd be interesting to hear what you think.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions? Yeah, well, I would say I would agree it being very unclear, because as councillors in the main, we are lay people, so we are going to need a lot of help from officers. You know, that's basically my word. That's my word on it. Anybody else has anything to say?
I'd like to just agree with you there. I think there's people joining the SACRE who have perhaps no interest, even not so much no interest, but no involvement with religion at all. So it needs to be, like Ernie said, layman's terms really. So I agree with your comment on it being very unclear.
Okay, anybody else got a comment? If not, move along again then, Angela.
Okay. Okay, so question 3 is directed at support for practitioners. I'm interpreting that to mean, the personnel in school, so school leaders and, governors, and also not so much governors, but school leaders and teachers who are going to be, charged with designing a curriculum for RVE. Now, there's been a lot of debate between the not relevant at all or slightly relevant, and different groups of commentators have come up with different views on this. I felt that it would have been better if we had a not sufficiently relevant option here, but that doesn't exist. There is strong feeling that without a clear and accurate definition of religion and a clear and accurate definition of non-religious philosophical convictions, that the guidance actually doesn't function at all, and therefore the whole document kind of falls apart, and that it should be judged as not relevant at all. And I think those are really important problems. The definition of religion is very exclusive, in that it defines religion in very kind of monotheistic, Abrahamic terms. And it leaves out lots of, dharmic traditions such as Buddhism and, pantheistic traditions and polytheistic traditions as well. So it's not an adequate definition of religion, and you have to really get that right if you are going to be offering guidance for RVE in schools. There is very difficult legal passages, or there are difficult legal passages about philosophical, non-religious philosophical beliefs and convictions, which are just not very clear, not very helpful, and don't really go any way in guiding schools as to what to include in their RE provision, their RVE provision, and what might fall outside of it. And actually, the examples that are given in the document are perhaps things that we probably wouldn't include as non-religious philosophical convictions within an RE or an RVE curriculum. And also, we felt that that there are problems with the lenses. Are they actually, do they actually have kind of integrity as a kind of method of teaching RVE? So they seem to be concepts, or maybe even contexts, but lenses is more properly understood as ways of looking at an exact same issue or topic. So, for example, the example I give there is Freethley's work from Exeter University, Who is Jesus, where pupils study the person of Jesus from different perspectives and different angles. So they look at Jesus from an historical perspective, Jesus from a theological perspective, Jesus from a kind of social sciences perspective, and so on and so forth. So we felt that was problematic at NAPFRE, and there was long debates around that. Yeah, I think it's really important that there has to be advice to school leaders as well as to what to do if some teachers decide that they don't want to teach RVE. That's been something that's been overlooked all the way through, and it's still in law that teachers can, as long as they're not specifically employed to teach RVE, they can actually exercise what used to be known as the conscience clause, not to teach the subject, and that just hasn't been addressed. There's nothing in there to help schools to manage teachers who exercise that right. So I don't know what we think. Are we erring on the not relevant at all, or slightly relevant, or is there anybody who disagree and go completely the other way and say that it's very relevant or relevant?
Any questions or comments? Okay, well, the comment I would say on question 3, how can teachers give guidance if the law has not been changed, except for parents' withdrawal? It must be giving a big problem for teachers, to be honest. That's my way to that's my comment on it.
Yeah, I think most people in the world of RE would welcome every child having equal access to the curriculum, and there being no child withdrawn from any part of RE provision. Of course, that would be the ideal. I think what's difficult is that that we will be the only nation in the UK that doesn't have a right to withdraw. There's a lot going on around that in the media. I was saying before the meeting started to some of you that there was a programme on the BBC Sunday Morning Live where the right to withdraw from RVE was being talked about, and quite frankly there was a lot of misunderstanding around it. And I think if you are going to get rid of the right to withdraw, then really practitioners need to be protected by the guidance. There needs to be clear and thoroughgoing guidance on what critical, objective and pluralistic RVE is going to look like, exemplified if possible. And I don't think it's fair to put all of those decisions around the curriculum either on SACREs and ASCs or on schools if they're to have full autonomy. So I think it's I think there are some issues there that we really need to be mindful of.
Okay, thank you very much. Any further questions or comments? If not, we move along to item 4.
Yeah.
Question 4, sorry.
Okay, so I won't read them all out, but just these are some of the gaps that I felt were there in the guidance. I don't know if anybody would want to add to that list or challenge anything that's on it. They think that they think shouldn't be there, perhaps. So I don't know if you just want to have a little look through and offer some of your comments.
Yeah. Any further comments or questions? Okay, that's okay, Angela.
Okay.
Seems to be happy with that.
Okay. So question 5, I think, Ernie, you had something to say about this one, didn't you?
I did, yes. I think to me this is the critical business of it, to be honest, on the question. Yeah, well, basically, there is no sufficient support, particularly with the loss of the parental right to withdrawal, children and RVE. What I would say is, I use a quote from Sue Walker, the Chief Officer Learning, who I think is a tremendous officer in Merthyr Tydfil. And what she says is, if we do not give the parents their choice, how can we give choices to children? And I think that's significant, to be honest. It really is. I think it's going to be critical to the whole problem of the whole business, to be honest. Any other comments or questions on it? But I do feel strongly on this, as we were discussing earlier to Angela. But that's where we are. Any other questions or comments? And if not, I certainly agree insufficient. There's no problem.
Okay.
So I leave it on to you, Angela.
Okay. So we can move on to question 6. Okay, so additional support, we will absolutely, there has to be additional support, even if the guidance was really good. There would still need to be professional learning and other support and resources to make it work. So my main focus there has been on training. I've highlighted that hours for subject specific guidance on PGCE courses have been reduced significantly in recent years. And this idea as well that teachers need to know exactly what critical, objective and pluralistic looks like in practice. It's a standard in law, and schools will be challenged on it, and if they get it wrong, then there could be dire consequences for individual members of staff, for governing bodies, and for schools themselves if those challenges end up as legal challenges. I think that moving forward as well in terms of resources, I think it's really important for us as a SACRE to make sure that Welsh Government realise that there will be resources needed to design locally agreed syllabuses that are robust enough, of good enough quality to support the new curriculum for Wales and RVE within that. I think it's questionable maybe whether the guidance actually does assist those who are responsible for curriculum design to actually appropriately create a provision that shows the ever-evolving diversity within Wales. And it does nothing to ensure that pupils in less culturally and religious diverse parts of Wales will have access to learning about the wide variety of faith beliefs and cultures that make up Wales as a whole. I think that's really important, that all pupils get equal access to learning about a range of different faiths and beliefs and worldviews.
Thank you, Angela. Any further questions or comments? If not, we move on to question 7.
Okay, so this one is directed specifically at us, at SACREs. It's asking how helpful the document is in developing an agreed syllabus conference, and how helpful it is in general to SACREs or SACs, as we will soon be known, because they're getting rid of the RE or the RVE bit. So I think without that articulation of what must have regard to actually means in relation to this, having regard to this document, and having regard to the to the locally agreed syllabus in schools. Without that, I don't really think that this document, this guidance, is of much help to us at all. We don't know the status of the document. We've been told in SACRE that that the Welsh Government will be asking the agreed syllabus conferences to adopt this guidance as a locally agreed syllabus. In my view, it's not a syllabus because it doesn't perform the basic functions of a syllabus in setting out what should be learnt at what stage in a child's education. And I would say that it's not particularly helpful for Welsh governments, if they do in fact do that, to ask SACREs and ASCs to recommend something that's in place of a syllabus rather than being a syllabus in and of itself. The status of this document remains therefore unclear. So I think that there needs to be guidance on what does it mean that the other principal religions represented in Wales, because that's really open to question. Are we going to go by numbers? Are we going to go by the influence and impact that a particular faith or worldview has had or is having on Welsh society? There's lots of different ways that could be determined, and the decisions that SACREs and ASCs make around that need to be justifiable and defensible if challenged. I think that setting down that there should be a basic diet of religion, that the learning should go beyond Abrahamic faiths and look at at least Dharmic traditions as well as non-religious philosophical convictions is really important as a bare minimum. And that there should be something written in to this guidance to point out that students, learners should be learning about perhaps more contentious issues and more contentious faiths, such as Islam. Though we don't think it is contentious, there is a lot of prejudice around the teaching of Islam in Wales and beyond, and that's supported by a study that was done at Liverpool Hope University in 2019. So unless such stipulations are made, then there could be unintended consequences in that if schools don't have to address those issues and those topics, that some will shy away from them, and that will be to the detriment of lots of young people in Wales. And I think that could be an unintended consequence of the removal of the right to withdraw. That schools will not want to cause court controversy, will not want to rile some parents who've lost that right, and might just not teach the more contentious things on the curriculum.
Okay, thank you very much, Angela. Any further comments or questions? Yeah, Mark.
Thank you, Angela. That was exceptionally well said. I just couldn't agree with you more, but I just, we're sitting here a lot of quiet in the time, but I just wanted to say how clearly I think you articulated the issue that people, want to water things down to make them palatable, when the reality of life in the world today is that there is a lot that is not that easy to accommodate. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope that your voice is heard. And I hope that we can encourage that voice, that if we don't teach our children the difficult things in life, then they will just simply reject them later on and not bother to learn or understand and come alongside. So just thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Ian.
Thank you, Chair. Angela, with regard to the various faith schools, are they allowed to opt out of this entire syllabus?
It depends what kind of school they are. So voluntary aided schools, they can teach RE or RVE according to the tenets of their faith, or the the tenets of their faith as set down in their funding agreements, their trust deeds, I should say. So they can teach a different kind of RVE that isn't based on a locally agreed syllabus, and SACREs don't have any kind of jurisdiction over those voluntary aided schools. Most voluntary controlled schools with a religious character will usually teach according to the locally agreed syllabus. But however, under the new law, the voluntary aided schools and voluntary controlled schools with a religious character, they can be requested to teach RE that is, or RVE, I should say, that is in line with the agreed syllabus, and they have to meet that request. So that was, quite difficult issue, really. Another issue around the removal of the right to withdraw, because if parents send their children to a school with a religious character and they're not happy with the RE there, then they can withdraw their children from all or part of that RE provision. Going forward, they're not going to be able to do that. So the schools with religious character have to be ready with an alternative curriculum for requests to teach according to the locally agreed syllabus. So it has been something that's been quite a difficult issue, and has been much debated, because it does put extra pressure on those faith schools.
Thank you very much, Angela.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, move along again. Thank you, Angela. Okay,
so these questions, they're not really within SACRE's remit, because they're to do with Welsh language, and SACRE hasn't got a remit to advise on Welsh language. So I'm happy to leave those questions out, unless anybody has got anything in particular that they would like to raise and have put into the SACRE's response. I'm happy to pop it in if anybody wants to say anything on those two.
I think it seems questions. It seems okay, Angela.
Yeah, okay. And then the final question is just completely free format, open to us to say anything we haven't had a chance to say throughout the rest of the consultation process. The thing I really wanted to flag up is just the poor quality of written communication in the document for a document that's going to be written into law and has gone out to the public of Wales for consultation. It just, after a very lengthy delay, it didn't seem that the quality was of a good enough standard, and that was felt quite widely by a number of commentators. So there's lots of jargon and technical language, and some of it is just thrown in without any explanation at all, and you know, a lay person picking it up, or even somebody in a school who's a practitioner would be you know, hard pushed to understand everything that's in this document. And I've discussed this at length with various other advisors and commentators. It's felt that there might be within this guidance an unhelpful divide between religion and non-religious philosophical convictions. It's as if the title RVE, Religion, Values and Ethics, is being dealt with in this guidance as you know, the religion bit is the religions such as Christianity, Islam, Judaism, etc. And then the values and ethics are the non-religious philosophical convictions, when actually it's far more complex than that in the real world. And there's nothing in this guidance to help schools and SACREs and agreed syllabus conferences to be able to understand that and to be able to navigate around it. And you know, again, I think, you know, getting this wrong is very you know, could have some dire consequences. So I've given a couple of examples there, and yeah, I just think that lots of people have felt that there's an oversimplification of religion and non-religious belief that you know, could be quite you know, in some ways quite dangerous in some ways, and you know, not appropriate. So I don't know if anyone's got anything else to add, or if they'd like to ask any questions or challenge any of those points.
Any further now for Angela? Okay. Well, I have to say, Angela, that was a superb report. Absolutely superb for us. Sian, you wish to say anything?
Sorry, yeah, it was just that from a school's perspective, it didn't give any guidance because the new curriculum, you know, is based on these 4 purposes. Lots of schools will go down an integrated approach.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help. Like, obviously, as an RE teacher or a new, you know, religions, values and ethics teacher, I personally feel it should keep separate, but I don't think it'll be an issue in my school, but I know in some schools it will be fully integrated, and I think we need some guidance on, in the schools where it is integrated, how can a curriculum be designed, humanities curriculum be designed. It's just very, very difficult, I think, and I think something about maybe the different approaches of be it interdisciplinary or integrated or separate, I think needs to be taken possibly into account with the guidance.
Right.
Because I think that would help us in school.
So exemplified, if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions before we finish? Well, I have to say, Angela, it was, as I said earlier, it was a superb report, absolutely marvelous. What I would say is that teachers have got a real big problem over the next couple of months by the sound of it. Once they've got it started, they're going to really have a problem. I do feel sorry for them. But anyway, that's about the end of the meeting of our business, apart from the next future meeting. I'll just check at my diary to have a look at it. But before that, I have to say, Angela, it's been a pleasure being with you and working for you. And I'm really sorry you're going. But there we are. Things move on. All the best for you.
Well,
So,
it's been an absolute pleasure and privilege and a joy to work with everybody. As I've said, I'm still around in the world of RE. So please stay in touch. It'd be really good to still hear from Merthyr SACRE. And I am leaving you in very capable hands with Donna. So I don't feel too guilty because Donna's going to be great. But yeah, it's been an absolute joy to work with everybody. So thank you all very, very much.
Oh, thank you very much. Just 1 second, I'll get my diary and we see where we are.
Good luck, Angela, for the future as well.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, so it seems as far as the meeting in autumn, it's whenever you want, really, whatever anybody wants to. Got an idea? September, October, wherever.
Well, we normally go October, November, Chair. So,
Okay. So we normally go on Thursdays, or everybody happy?
Donna, what's your preference? Obviously, because you'll be at our next meeting.
That's a good idea, yeah. The better for that.
I'm going to be still working as a teacher in the classroom on a Thursday and a Friday. So unfortunately, my availability for SACRE will only be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay, well, Tuesdays is probably one of the better ones, as far as council are concerned, anyway.
Sian, how about you? How do you feel about, because I know you have some difficulty on days, don't you?
Ironically, Thursday's the most difficult for us because we have parents' evenings on a Thursday.
Oh, right, okay.
So, and lots of our meetings are on a Monday and a Thursday. So that's usually why there's sometimes a problem with either myself or Leanne attending.
Right.
So a Tuesday sounds great.
Okay.
So everybody happy with Tuesdays? So I would think we got a meeting on the 5th of October. So if we
normally we go into November? Do you know the date of the autumn was SACRE? I know it's way ahead, but
it makes no difference to whichever you want.
We'll try to do it in line. Normally, I think in the past we've done it at the beginning of just November.
Okay, we go for November. If you're happy with that.
The only thing is, social services scrutiny committees are held on a Tuesday, but they're only one every 6 weeks. So we just have to make sure we avoid that.
Okay. Well, if you're looking for November.
Just stay with me. I got the calendar here for meetings. So. 2 seconds.
Well, the best one, or the first one for November would be the 9th. Are we doing that?
Yeah, that's a day. We haven't got committees on that day.
9th is fine for me.
Are we happy with the 9th? 9th of November.
Still at 3:45?
Yeah.
Okay. We assume that we're doing that on Teams at the moment. The council are still doing all their committee meetings remotely. So until that changes, we assume that it'll be done remotely. If it does, and we would like to meet in person, I'll get in touch with you then and give you an option. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's excellent. Okay,
Tuesday the 9th of November then.
Yeah. Well, that comes to the end of the business. Thank you all very much for joining with us this evening, and have a good day. All the best.
And see you in the next meeting, Donna.
Yeah. Bye all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Angela.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.